All right, so BSN 1D and 1F. So I will record this video on lecture 5, skin and body membrane, so that by next week face to face, no, we could start discussing skeletal system. All right? So aralin nyo tong PowerPoint presentation, and if you have time, you watch this video so that by Tuesday next week, makapag-skeletal tayo. And ano pala ha, you prepare for a uh, 30 items quiz regarding integumentary or 20 items quiz regarding this lecture integumentary. So, integumentary system class are the skin, no? Pero, ano it's more than skin kasi there are membranes. Skin is just one membrane under integumentary system and there are three membranes. There are three membranes classification. The skin is one of them, the cutaneous membrane. Meron pa kasing serous and mucous membrane. So there are three classification under this uh, lecture 5, no, integumentary. Under this skin and body membranes pala. And then included in this lecture is the hair, no, mga appendages and also the nails and also some common skin diseases. So skin and body membrane class, it cover the surfaces, lines body cavities, and form protective sheets around organs. So meaning lahat ng surfaces, inside and out. Outside our body, syempre you have the skin, inside the cavity, the wall of the cavity, the the serous membranes, and some other organs like, for example, the lining of trachea, the mucous membrane, and the sinuses, the mucous membrane, which produces mucus. And the functions of body membranes are the following, of course. It lines the cover body surfaces, outside, external, and also inside, no, sa mga cavities and also the surface of organ. It protects body surfaces just like the skin, and it lubricates body surfaces just like the serous membrane covering the internal organs, the intestine, for example. There are two general classification of body membranes: the epithelial membrane, the most common, and the connective tissue membrane, medyo less common, but it is found it can be found in the joints, no, uh, joints where synovial fluid is located, like for example sa kneecap natin, yung mga connective tissue membranes diyan, may mga cavity kasi diyan and the surface of those cavity class are made up of connective tissues, no, yung mga collagenous. While the more common is the epithelial membranes. Yun nga, just like what I've said, three classification under epithelial membranes. You have the cutaneous, the mucous, and the serous. Cutaneous skin, mucous produces the mucus, the thick liquid, no, while serous produces the thin, watery liquid, which again has a sole for purpose of, no, lubricating the internal or the surface of the internal organs. Uh, Less friction. No? Here is the table differentiating the epithelial membrane and connective tissue membrane. Okay, so for epithelial, you have the three, and for selective or connective tissue membrane, you only have the synovial membrane or the covering sa surface ng mga joints cavity natin. Ayun, lines joints cavities and produce synovial fluid. Synovial fluid class, it what makes our joints, no, movable, or ano ba, or kasi the purpose of this class, synovial membrane, is to is to lessen the friction of our joints, of our skeleton, kasi syempre they are in constant they are in constant movement. For example, yung sa elbow natin, di ba, we are always bending our arms. Yung sa knee natin, we are always bending our legs, no, our feet to our knees. So anong mapapansin nyo, it is in constant motion. So ibig sabihin, prone yan sa wear and tear, no, because of friction. So para ma-lessen yon, you have the synovial fluid, no. So some sort of lubrication para siyang sa serous membrane, serosa ng mga internal organs natin with the same purpose of lessening the friction. Mucus naman, mucus class. It protects our respiratory tract, for example. For protection yan eh. For uh, because it traps those particulate matter in the air, di ba? Same thing with the mucous membrane that lines our stomach because our stomach is very acidic. Ano yan, 1 to 3 yung pH niyan, very low pH. Ibig sabihin, very acidic. So it needs some sort of protection. So mucous membrane yun. No? Ay, yung iba, examples, ayan, indicated naman lahat yan. You just read them, ha? Presence of epithelium, exposure to. Next is this skin, the dry membrane. We already mentioned some of the terms last week when we talk about tissue. Medyo mahaba yung tissue eh. Dry membrane, outermost protective boundary, of course, no? It is superficial, meaning on the surface, epidermis, no? Because the dermis is connective na. Keratinized, stratified, squamous epithelium. Again, what is squamous epithelium for, no? And it is stratified. Bakit siya stratified? Nabanggit ko na yan last week. Underlying dermis, the most dense fibrous connective tissue, is still part of the cutaneous membrane. The dermis and the epidermis. Mucous membrane class is the surface epithelium. It types depends on its site, no? It has underlying loose connective tissue beneath it. It lines all body cavities that open to the exterior part, just like for example the nasal cavity, no? What else? The mucosa of the mouth, the mucosa of the lung, bronchi tube, the esophagus lining as well. So again, but for the esophagus class, the purpose of mucus there is so that our food, no, sa digestive system natin, di ba? The food we eat could easily pass through the esophagus. So part din yun ng mucus. So it opens body cavities that opens to the exterior. It opens to the exterior. Ibig sabihin, nasa loob siya ng katawan natin, inside our body because it is cavity, for example. But then again, it is open to the exterior. Like for example, the esophagus, syempre it is open to the mouth, to the outside world whenever we eat food, no? Same thing with nasal cavity. Although it is inside there, but then it is open to the outside because air enters the nasal cavity to the lungs. So mucous membrane class lines the body cavities that are open to the external surface. And also the in female vaginal canal, no? It also produces secretion, mucostic, no? Fluid. And it also open to the external. So mucous membrane pa din. Serous membranes, on the other hand, class does not open to the external. Okay? So surface simple squamous epithelium, based on our discussion last week on the tissue, no? It has underlying areolar connective tissue, no? Well, that's one of the characteristic of membranes class, no? Like for example, the skin, no? Beneath the epidermis there are two layers no? The reticular layer and the other one, I forget the other one. The lamina, ayun, the basal laminar and the reticular layer, di ba? And reticular layer class is made up of connective tissue. So wala, it's a characteristic of of skin, no? Of these membranes. Sa ilalim, it's always the connective tissue. Lines open body cavities that are close to the exterior. Just like the abdominal cavity, di ba? It is close to the exterior eh. And unlike yung sa esophagus, no? Stomach, no? They are open to the exterior. The lungs, the airways, the nasal cavity are open to the exterior. But this one, the serous membranes, it covers the organs or the cavity that is close to the exterior, like the abdominal cavity. Like in this diagram class, serous membrane covers the parietal, it is called the parietal peritoneum. Later on we'll have a diagram for that, and the visceral peritoneum. So the visceral peritoneum class lines the organs. It lines our organs, the intestine, for example. While the parietal peritoneum naman, it lines or it covers the surface of the cavity itself, the abdominal cavity, the wall of the abdominal cavity, for example. It occurs in pair, parietal and visceral. Serous layers separated by serous fluid. Like for example, class, the lungs. Yan, yung lungs natin. It is made up of two layers pa eh. I mean, the outermost surface of the lungs is made up of two membranes pa. And between that membranes, there is a serous fluid. We'll talk about that more when we talk about when we discuss the lungs, the respiratory system. For example, the cavities, the abdominal cavities, the peritoneal cavities, which is made up of what? The linings on the wall of this cavity is what covers it is parietal peritoneum. And what cover this, for example, just a representation of the internal organs. What covers these internal organs, like the colon, for example, is visceral peritoneum. Alright? So what covers the cavity, parietal, and what covers the internal organ, the surface of the internal organ, visceral peritoneum. This is the table, no? Para pag madali nyong i-review. Differentiating the mucous membrane and the serous membrane. When it comes to mucous, of course, it is thick and sticky, while for serous, it's made of thin, clear, and watery fluid. The purpose of mucous is to trap dust, dirt, while serous membrane naman, just like what I've said, is to lessen the friction between moving organs. Here are some examples of a serous membrane. The peritoneum in the abdominal cavity, just like on the previous slide. The pleura around the lungs. Okay, we call it the serous membrane that surrounds the lungs, we call it the pleura. While the serous membrane that surrounds the heart, we call it the pericardium. No? And we'll talk about those more when we discuss, for example, respiratory for the pleura. For the cardiovascular naman, we'll be discussing the layers of the heart. So we'll be mentioning again the pericardium. At least you're already familiar with the term. Okay, so we're done with the epithelial membranes. And under those, what are the three? Under epithelial, the skin, the mucous, and the serous. While this one is the connective tissue membrane. Isa lang yan, that is the synovial membrane. Okay? The synovial membrane class is the lining, no? Is the lining of the cavity in our joints, no? Or what we call the joint cavity. For example, in our knee, this sa tuhod natin class, no? Yung joint natin dyan, merong cavity, may empty space dyan, but it's not empty class because it is filled with synovial fluid nga, no? I'm just saying it's empty space to alam niyo na, to indicate that it is a cavity, but it's not actually empty. It contains synovial fluid. Okay, so what lines this cavity that houses the synovial fluid class is called the synovial membrane, right? And this synovial membrane class are made up of connective tissue. Okay, and what are those connective tissue class? They are made up of fibrous material like a collagen fiber, Okay, so again, synovial membrane is the lining, inside the innermost lining of the joint cavity. And this joint cavity is not empty, it's made up of synovial fluid. So what's the purpose of this synovial membrane? Well, obviously it is there to produce to secrete synovial fluid. And sir, what is synovial fluid for? It is to lessen the friction between the I forgot the part, no. May tawag dito. I will discuss that next week on skeletal system. Epipisil, ano? I forgot eh. Basta it is there, the synovial fluid is there to lessen the friction because these two bones are in constant contact with each other, right? So if it is in constant contact and constant movement, then it is prone to wear and tear. So ibig sabihin magagasgas na magagasgas. And that is why synovial fluid is there to lessen the friction. Okay? Arthritis class, no? For example, sa ano na yan? Sa ano na pala yan? We'll talk about arthritis when we discuss the skeletal system by next week. Problem kasi yun sa mga bones eh. Like for example sa synovial membrane, sa fluid, no? Okay, so again under epithelial there are three. The skin, the cutaneous, the serous, and the mucous. And under the connective, you have the synovial. Alright, so first we'll discuss the cutaneous or the skin. It has derivatives or appendages, no? The oil glands, the hair, and nails. Meaning this derivatives class can be found in the cutaneous membrane, the skin. Skin function, mechanical damage, protection against bacterial damage, thermal damage, ultraviolet radiation, desiccation, which makes sense, no? Other function of skin, no? Which is aside from the common function mentioned in the previous slide, is for protective and cushioning, no? Especially the epidermis, dermis, the subcutaneous, the fatty, no? The adipose tissue under the skin class is for cushioning. Waterproof, of course, because it prevent leakage from tissue, which is a major problem, no? During burn, no? Pag may pasyente tapos nasunog yung katawan niya, let's say for example first degree or maybe second degree burn, tapos let's say 30%, mahirap yun kasi prone sa dehydration. Wala eh. Skin kasi is there as a seal for the water, for the plasma to not leak out from the tissue. It aids in heat regulation because water class is tawag dito? Water is not solvent but high heat capacity. Yan. It aids coolant as well. It is water kasi is coolant eh. It aids help in the excretion of salt and urea and uric acid. For urea and uric acid, it's not very observable, but for salt it's very observable. Like you can sometimes we could taste our sweat and it's really salty. No? It synthesizes vitamin D, which is very important class. You should know that, nursing students. Vitamin D is very important for the absorption of calcium. Right? Kaya mga baby, di ba? Kailangan mong paarawan because sunlight helps synthesize vitamin D. Pero ngayon, in 21st century, sa panahon ngayon, kahit hindi na siguro kasi most of the commercial milk class are fortified with vitamin D. Unless siguro the mother is breastfeeding. Contains sensory receptors. Ayan. Thermoceptors, for example, which I already mentioned when we discussed the concept of homeostasis. And not only, there are lots of sensors class in our skin. That is why we can sense through our sense of touch. And also in our reproductive system, of course. There are lots of sensory receptors there. And still, nasa skin pa din yun. Skin structure, I think you already did this in the laboratory. I hope you remember the layers of the skin. The outer layer is stratified squamous, or it is often keratinized, hardened by keratin, of course. And the dermis is a connective tissue, which I mentioned, especially the reticular reticular layer, both firmly connected but can separate during blister. There you have the epidermis, and in between dermis and epidermis class, there are another two layers, the basal lamina and the reticular lamina, or the reticular layer. The dermis and the subcutaneous. Epidermis, the outer. Epi means above, no? So it is above the dermis. Dermis is beneath the epidermis, obviously, and it's made of connective tissue. I think I already mentioned that the epidermis is avascular, but it is innervated because it contains receptors. While the dermis, you can find there this part, the hair follicle part, the sebaceous gland, sebaceous gland, yeah, and below it, of course, the subcutaneous, the hypodermis, tissue, fats. Another illustration class of the division, the layer of the skin, the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. I would also mention the capillary class in the upper part of the dermis. No, this is where the capillary vessels class. No, this is where the exchange of nutrients and minerals and fluid, no, from the blood to the epidermis. Alright, so the nutrients and the minerals there, they move, no, from dermis to epidermis by simple diffusion, because the dermis doesn't have the capillary, only the epidermis doesn't have the capillary, only the dermis. So the nutrients from the body, from the blood, enters the dermis, and from the dermis it goes to the epidermis through simple diffusion. The hypodermis, or the subcutaneous, is not part of the skin. It is made of fats, and fats are connective tissue. It anchors the skin to the underlying organs, composed mostly of adipose. Serve as a shock absorber, insulation for deeper tissue. Pag mga fats, it's ano talaga, it's for insulation. Like when we talk about the nervous system, probably by midterm, no? The axon terminal of a cell, of a neuron, is actually covered by insulator, by fats, no? Myelin sheets kung tawagin. The epidermis class contains lots of layers. I hope you already memorized this in your laboratory. The stratum, the stratum basali. It is the deepest layer. Cells undergoing active mitosis there, no? And then the newly divided cells go up, pataas yan no? To replace which will eventually go to the surface of the epidermis, which will replace the dead cells there. So pataas yung movement nila. Actively dividing sa baba, pataas ng pataas yung mga cells until they replace those shedding or dead skin cells in the outermost layer. It lies next to dermis, of course, and they are made up of, and another layer pala is the stratum spinosum, the old strata. When you say stratum class, strata yun, in earth science, when you say strata, just layer, no? Different layer, different strata. Stratum granulosum, old stratum spinosum. What else? Stratum lucidum, of course, we have a diagram for this, an illustration. Only in hairless skin. So stratum lucidum class can only be found in hairless skin. Stratum corneum, shingle-like dead cells that are 3/4 of the epidermal thickness, and is completely filled with keratin cells called cornified or horny cells. Horny class doesn't is not associated with sexuality. Horny cells because they just look like horns under the microscope. They look like horns. That's why they called horny cells, but they are not horny, of course. So this is the layers that we've mentioned earlier, no? The basal layer, the lowermost layer of the epidermis, the spinous layer. Spinous layer class, oh look, it makes our skin firm. Why is that? Because if you look closely, there are many desmosomes. And you know desmosomes, na mention natin yung we talk about cell. Now, what's the function of desmosomes? No? So it makes those cell in a compact and tight manner. No? So it makes our skin firm. And then above it is the granular layer, stratum corneum, and these are the desquamating cells or the shedding cells. Now, which will later on be replaced by this actively dividing cell in the basal layer. Pataas yan. Ito, below it, if you can see the skin cycle, the mitosis, the basal layer, then the upward migration, then it will undergo keratinization. So protein synthesis will happen in those ribosomes, producing keratin, and then eventually cell death and then shedding off. And it takes about 4 weeks to renew your the epidermis of your cell. Aside from keratin, another important pigment class is the melanin. It what makes our skin darker in complexion or maybe lighter depending on the amount of melanin. It's actually genetics. No? Produced by melanocytes. Melanocytes class is in the lower layer of the epidermis. It's color yellow to brown to black. It depends. No? The melanocytes are mostly in stratum, ayan, lower level, basal level. No? Basali, stratum basali. The amount of melanin produced, syempre, depends on the genetics and of course, nurture and nature. It depends on the exposure to sunlight because if you are always exposed to sunlight, then it's your body no, to adjust to it by producing more melanin. Mangingitim ka talaga. Not because your skin is being burned by the sun. Pero long-term exposure to sunlight, for example, you live near the coastal lines or the shore, no, malapit ka sa shore, malapit ka sa dagat. So naturally, exposed ka talaga sa sa sunlight niyan, mainit pati. So your body will tend to produce more melanin. The dermis part, of course, is the hide, no? Sa leather yata yun, leather sa animals. So the dermis is, of course, it lies below the epidermis and it contains it is made up of papillary layer. There is a papillary layer pala, sorry. There is papillary layer. These are projections. If you can see there, maliit lang pero projections called dermal papillae. Parang it connects this dermal papillae connects to the dermis, connects to the dermis. May mga diyan, may mga capillaries diyan for exchange of nutrients para yung diffusion no is a bit faster towards the epidermis para mabilis yung exchange yung supply of nutrients dun sa epidermis natin no through this dermal papillae. Mga projections kasi yan na naka-embed no nakatusok parang nakatusok sa epidermis natin. It contains the capillary loops, of course I already mentioned that it has a reticular layer, contains blood vessels, sweat and oils, and some nerve receptors, of course. And above the reticular layer is the basal lamina. Alright, so here is the structure of the dermis, no? Just below the epidermis. Papillary layer, these are just like the projections there. Para yung mga mountain ranges na yan, those are papillary layer. Contains the capillary vessels. Para yung exchange of materials sa epidermis is a bit faster. Exchange of nutrients. And these are the reticular layer, which are made up of collagenous fiber. Na-mention ko yan last week. This is the complete layer of the skin, the epidermis, the different strata or the stratum basali, the basal lamina made of glycoproteins, the reticular lamina made up of gelatinous collagen fibers, the papillary layer, the reticular layer, another reticular layer class so which is different from the reticular layer doon sa near the epidermis and of course just below it is the hypodermis, the adipose tissue. So between the papillary layer and the hypodermis there is another reticular layer. And here is the table differentiating the papillary layer and the reticular layer. A papillary layer is upper, superficial, near the epidermis, while the reticular layer is deeper. just uh, just before the subcutaneous, the hypodermis. And the reticular layer is also made up of elastic fibers of collagen. Provides strength and it attaches well to the adipose tissue. So these layers, class, no, are responsible for making our skin firm and strong for the which serves the function of protection, of course. So we're still on the dermis. It's made up of collagen and elastic fibers. It gives the skin elasticity and toughness. And there are lots of blood vessels in the dermis. No, it is highly vascular because it has many capillary vessels there. And another skin structure with a complete label. And the skin color determinants. Of course, we have the melanin. Could be yellow, brown, or black pigments depending on how much we're exposed to sunlight and heredity as well. The carotene, the orange yellow pigment from some of the vegetables we eat, like carrot, obviously, no, bell pepper. The hemoglobin, which makes our skin red. Pag nagbablush tayo, for example, the red coloring from the blood cells. The oxygen content determines the extent of the coloring. So what makes our skin a bit pinkish red is because of the hemoglobin, no? Because of the blood. And it is also one of the reason, plus what makes our skin warm. If you touch your skin, no, medyo syempre we are warm, 36, 37 degrees Celsius, and that's because of the movement of this blood, which comes from the deep within our internal biological structure. Redness or the blanching color, the pale color from anemia or from fear, from the sudden drop of blood pressure, no, or impaired blood flow. The jaundice or yellow, if we have some issues in our liver, no, if our liver is damaged, syempre yung mga bilirubin coloration will leak, no, to the blood. The bruises or black and blue marks, what happened this, for example, na suntok kayo sa mukha, no, na black ayan kayo. Syempre, the blood from the blood vessel will leak to the tissue, and it is called hematoma. All right, so we're already on these appendages of the skin, no, the extra parts, no, of the skin, the glands, the nail, the hair, which are all found in the skin. Arise from the epidermis, of course, and play, like for example, the hair, the and the nail, syempre, they come from the epidermis. Pero nasa abot pa rin yan ng dermis, no? Like for example, the glands. Abot pa din yung dermis, mula pa din sa dermis. You have the cutaneous glands or the exocrine gland. Or remember the term exocrine, no? Exocrine meaning the fluid, no, will be secreted on the surface or on the outside. Example of these cutaneous gland or exocrine glands are the sebaceous gland and the sweat glands. Sebaceous glands, what makes our face oily sometimes, no? And sweat glands, of course, during perspiration, when we perspire. The sebaceous glands, class, produces oil, which is a lubricant for the skin. It somehow it at the moderate amount of oil produced from the sebaceous gland is actually good for the skin because it has some sort of antibacterial property. It kills bacteria and it prevents the hair, for example, in our scalp, from becoming brittle. Most with ducts that empty into the hair follicles. Of course, even in our skin naman, we have hair there which have a hair follicles. So sebaceous glands excrete those oil in the hair follicles. Glands are activated at puberty, but then again, it is more common, it is more observable sa hair natin, ano. Kasi minsan pag hindi ka naligo, syempre your hair in your the hair in your head, no, tends to become, oily. It's because of the sebaceous gland that releases oil directly into the hair follicle. Face, ganun din. And these glands, class, are activated at puberty. So, pag mga teenager na yan, nag-start na yan, maging oily yung skin, yung hair, paminsan. Sweat glands are known as sudoriferous gland. They are widely distributed in the skin, no, from head to toe. There are two types, the eccrine gland, which opens by a duct to form on the skin surface, while the apocrine naman, ducts emptied in the hair follicles. So, this is different from the from the sebaceous gland. Itong apocrine gland, baka ma-confuse nyo yung dalawa. Apocrine gland class, empty into the hair follicles, like for example, in the hair in our armpit. Yan. Siyempre, pagpapawisan tayo no? Pinagpapawisan tayo. And this is the difference between the eccrine glands and the apocrine glands. Eccrine glands class, they produces thin, watery pawis, no? Yun lang yun, sweat. While the apocrine glands naman, pawis din siya, pero it's more on specific area like armpit, groins, around the anus, and also in the pubic hair, of course. Apocrine releases the secretion or the fluid in the hair follicles, no? Thick, milky secretion because it contains protein and lipids, and this is the reason why for some people, no, there is body odor because of the bacteria feeding on these proteins and lipids. For example, in the armpit. Ano yan, may maraming apocrine glands dyan which produces proteins and lipids, and these bacteria class, they tend to feed on those lipids and protein. But there are some people class na kahit hindi maglagay ng deodorant, no, hindi sila nangangamoy body odor. Why is that? Kasi wala, it's genetics din no, for some people malakas yung very active yung apocrine glands producing proteins and lipid, but for some people naman, a small percentage of the population, they don't produce that much protein and lipids. So, hindi masyadong, wala masyadong food for the bacteria. So, apocrine gland class is for communication, puberty, activated in emotional stress, no? Response to stress. While yung eccrine glands naman, ang function niya lang talaga is for, syempre, pagpapawisan ka because of what? Thermoregulation, homeostasis, no? Controlled by the sympathetic nervous system. We'll discuss sympathetic nervous system when we talk about nervous system. What's the composition of the sweat? Well, mostly water, some salts, vitamin C, metabolic waste like lactic acid, fatty acids and protein for apocrine only, which I mentioned earlier. The function is to help dissipate the skin, especially the eccrine glands for the sweat. Excrete waste product as well, acid, and they are very acidic in nature to inhibit bacterial growth. Not very acidic, no, but they are mild acidic. Both the eccrine and the apocrine, both the sweat and the thick, no, fluid produced by the apocrine glands. Odor is from the bacteria living in the proteins and fats, feeding on them. Hair, of course, serves as protective function, insulation, and still does in some animals. Sa atin kasi as human, syempre, alam mo naman, evolution yan, historical evolution ng humans yan, class. Early ancestors natin, syempre, full of body hair, but then it's very inefficient, especially during hunting and gathering. Mag-hunt ka ng animals, you will be running all day, and with the hair all over your body, it will be very efficient. Sobrang init noon, so nature removed that certain traits, no, characteristics. So naiwan na lang sa head. Syempre, protection 'yan, insulation and also protection. Pag nauntog ka, medyo may cushioning effect pa yung hair unless you are bald, no. Pag kalbo, wala. Produced by hair follicle, the hair follicle class is the tube, no? Is the tube in our epidermis, wherein the hair grows. Pag tinanggal mo yung hair, baka isipin mo, ito yung hair follicle doon sa hair. No, it's not. The tube itself, the hole there is the hair follicle. Part of the hair encloses in the follicle is the root. Ayan, the root of the hair, pinakaugat niya, is there, embedded in the hair follicle. part projecting from the surface is called the shaft. The hair itself is the shaft. So, paano na-produce yung hair? Paano na siya nag-grow? Of course, may region dito sa gitna, no? Where the growth zone wherein there is this rapid cell division. Alam mo ang cell sa hair follicle class. Ito, ganito. Cells in the hair follicles are rapidly dividing. Isa 'yan sa mga nada-damage class during chemotherapy because when a cancer patient take drugs, no, anti-cancer agent. Syempre the term there is chemotherapy, no. Hindi lang siya yung radiation. Baka isipin nyo kasi class nursing kayo. Isipin nyo, chemotherapy is the radiation itself. No. The medication, no, the oral medication, even those capsules that they are taking, the patient's taking, is called chemotherapy. As long as you are taking drugs against cancer, then you are on a chemotherapy. Alright? So when you take those drugs class, they will target those rapidly dividing cells in the body. Because cancers class are rapidly dividing. Kaso, problema mo, cells in the hair follicles, like this. Dito sa may matrix, no? Cells there are rapidly dividing as well. So, damay yan. So, kapag nag-chemotherapy yung pasyente, makakalbo talaga. Melanocytes providing pigment for the hair color. So, ito yan. And then, eventually, mag-grow yung cell. Dito rapidly dividing yung cell. Tapos, pataas ng pataas. Eventually, malalagyan ng pigment color. Number 1, pigment color. Number 2, makikeratinize. Malalagyan ng keratin. Hanggang sa yung entire cell, yung entire cytoplasm of the cell will be filled with keratin. And all the organelles there inside the cell class will be digested by probably lysosomes, no? So maubos lahat ng organelles and the entire cell will be filled with keratin. And eventually will die, no? We call it program cell death. Yung mga cells diyan sa hair follicle, naka-program na yan, no, to die. Wala kailangan ma-fill diyan ng keratin para maging dead cells yan because our hair class is dead cell, no? Ubos lahat ng organelles diyan will be replaced by keratin, which will result, no, to the hair that we could observe, yung black na hair natin na yan. Ano yan? Cells yan, dead cells filled with keratin. Ayan ang nangyayari class. Meron dito mga stem cell. You know stem cell, When you say stem cell class, hindi ko nabanggit yan eh. But they are stem cells are, what do you call this? Undifferentiated cell. Wala pa siyang identity. Di ba there are different types of cells like the neurons, for example. Skin cells, liver cells. Ano pa? Brain cells, no? Muscle cell. Yan, liver cell. Kidney cell. Iba't iba yung cells class, iba't iba yung structure niya, shapes niya, ha? Before they become those kind of cells class, first they start as stem cell, undifferentiated. Alright? So this stem cell will eventually go down to the matrix area sa hair follicle and will rapidly divide to produce cells in the hair follicle, which will eventually die because again nga, sabi ko, yung buong cell na yon will be filled with keratin, so organelles will be dissolved, no? Hanggang sa maging dead cells na siya, filled with keratin. Iyon na yung hair na na-observe natin. But very important is that the cells in the hair follicle comes from the stem cell, undifferentiated cells. Hair anatomy, the cuticle, no? What appears to be shiny, no? Part of our hair is the cuticle, the cortex, and the medulla, the center or the middle part of the hair. The cuticle is most heavily keratinized to provide strength, of course. And sometimes, syempre, at the end of the hair, mag-split ends na yan, mag-split na yan because of the worn. Syempre, oldest cells yung nandun sa pinakadulo, and because of the exposure to the external environment, it tends to split at the end. Split ends. And again, the tabulated form differentiating the cuticle, the cortex, and the medulla. You just read it, okay? Kasama sa quiz yan. The hair follicle class ha, the dermal and the epidermal sheath. Sheath, pag sinabi mong sheath, na ganyan, yung pinaka-tube niya nga pababa. The surrounds the hair root. Yan. The arrector pili, the muscle that is responsible for, ano yun? Goosebump. No? Sebaceous, the oil gland, the sweat glands, I already mentioned that. And another infographic for the hair follicle, the parts of the hair, no? The dermal papilla, the hair matrix wherein the rapid cell division occur, the bulge region. I think nandito din yung bulge region na yung stem cell. Ayan, the bulge region wherein the arrector pili muscle is attached siya. Tapos nandun din yung area na yon, nandun din yung stem cells. Nasabi ko sa inyo, it will go down into the matrix and start differentiating into cells of the hair follicle and eventually divide and become keratinized, which will form eventually the hair. Alright, so nails naman. So what's with the nails class? It contains the pre-edge. Ito, yung tinitrim natin, the body, and the root of the nail. Where's the root of the nail? Ayan, the root of the nail is ito. We're in the extension process occur. And the nail matrix as well. Itong cuticle part, no? Cuticle na part, it is made up of ano ha? Sabi dito, it's ilo ko, eponychium, proximal nail fold that protects the nail body. It's often called the cuticle. Hindi medyo, sometimes, siguro, in our everyday language, they often tawag dyan, label it as a cuticle. Pero hindi. The cuticle part, ito. Yung nasa pinakadulo na yan. Which is, dead cell. Dead cell yan. Yung pag naglilinis ka ng tawag dyan, naglilinis ka ng nails mo, of course, pwede mo siyang i-move, no? Pataas. Dead cell yan. It's not painful kahit pa matanggal yan. Pero kasi it has a function. It seals it seals the layers between it seals the proximal nail fold and the nail para yung mga dirt and bacteria will not enter the nail matrix. Seal siya dito. Itong part na to, it's actually dead skin cells. And it has a function of sealing. It seals the nail body and the root and the proximal nail fold. Okay, so that bacteria and dirt will not enter the nail matrix. Eponychium class is this fold ito, which is the living epithelial cell. So proximal nail fold, the eponychium, it is alive cells, while the cuticle is non-living, dead cells. Ayan, so another better picture or label, where you can see the cuticle and the eponychium together. Eponychium is the fold. Ito, hindi lang masyado the fold. While the cuticle, dead cells, ito. Nails class are, of course, it's a modification of the epidermis and it is heavily keratinized. The stratum bacilli extends beneath the nail bed. The thickened proximal area called the nail matrix responsible for the nail growth, which I mentioned earlier. Syempre, cells pa din yun, which is eventually filled with keratin. That eventually dies. That is why when you trim your nails, syempre, it wouldn't hurt us. Kasi mga dead cells siya na heavily keratinized. Yung mga organelles doon, wala na. Napalitan na, replaced by keratin. Lack of pigments makes them colorless. Wala namang melanin yun That's why it's colorless. Appear pink due to blood vessels underneath it, syempre. And it has a crescent called the lunula. Kita naman yan natin sa nails natin when we look at our nails. The lunula. Skin homeostatic imbalances. So this is the last part class. Baka ipa-activity ko sa inyo to ha, so that you're familiar with the different picture, for example, yung mga cancer cells, mga common skin diseases, no? Para isang tingin nyo pa lang, alam nyo na yun. So, which is dapat lang kasi syempre nursing kayo eh. Paano pag may nagtanong sa inyo na, uy, ano sa tingin nyo tong nasa skin ko, hindi nyo ma-identify, Diyos ko. Dapat alam nyo yan. You're not a doctor naman, pero syempre, for someone in the medical field, eventually, dapat alam nyo yung mga yan. I'll be making activity 2 yata, or activity 3, no? Which involves pictures of these common homeostatic imbalances or skin diseases. Common is at least puts. These are fungi class. Boils and carbuncles naman, these are caused by bacterial infection. Usually Staphylococcus aureus yan. Na nandoon, no? Nakalusot doon sa hair follicle natin. So kapag isang hair follicle lang yung damage, then we call it boil. If it is, 2 or more hair follicle is infected with S. aureus, then the term there is carbuncles. Cold sores or fever blister caused by herpes simplex. Viral infection usually on the lips and the oral mucosa dito sa singaw in Tagalog, no? So how do you treat singaw? Asin, hindi pwede, sobrang sakit ng class. Alum, pwede. Pero may mga ointment na dyan na nabibili. Fever blister caused by a virus. Boils and carbuncles, for example, yan, mga 2 or more, kumalat na, kumbaga, sa iba't ibang hair follicles, surrounding hair follicles, yung S. aureus na bacteria, causing the infection. Exposure to certain chemicals, of course, we call it contact dermatitis, impetigo, as well, around the mouth. Psoriasis class is long-term chronic yung diseases, no? Although it's not really deadly, pero syempre, nakokontrol mo yung niya, yung symptoms niya, no? Yung itchiness, no? But then again, it is, I think it's a kind of, compromised immune system. Tignan mo, when we talk about, immune system, we'll be mentioning this again, psoriasis. Parang yung immune cells mo are attacking those cells in your skin, causing the psoriasis. Pero i-check din natin yan. Again, when we talk about immune system. Burns, for example, first degree, second degree, ilang percent ng area of the body is burned. These are tissue damage, cell death caused by heat, and nearly every body system is affected, depending on the severity, of course. But if it is simple burn, no, first degree, with 1-2% area, wala naman yan. It will not affect the other system of the body. Nearly every body system, okay. Associated dangers, dehydration class is very dangerous for a patient with a severe burn. Why is that? Di ba sabi ko sa inyo kanina, class, yung skin natin contains desmosomes, which prevent leakage. So with our skin cell damage, then there will be a leakage of plasma, for example, and water, no, from the tissue palabas, and mag-evaporate lang yan. So ano mangyayari? Dehydration yan, no? Electrolyte imbalance, which is being caused by the dehydration. Circulatory shock, which is also caused by dehydration. Sir, paano nangyari yon? Plasma class is a component of the blood. When it leaks outside the tissue, outside the blood, interstitial fluid, palabas, mag-evaporate yan. Then your cardiac input, no? Your blood volume will become low. Bababa yung blood volume mo papunta sa heart, no? At syempre, mababa yung input mo, mababa din yung output mo palabas ng heart throughout the body. So what will happen? The cells throughout your body, no, or organs, or the cells in the organ, syempre, pagdating doon ng blood supply, kaunti na lang. So circulatory shock yun, bababa yung blood pressure. It's very dangerous for the patient. Madalas, yun yung kinakamatay ng mga patient. Dehydration and then circulatory shock. Multiple organ failure. The organs will not receive electrolytes. Wala nga na-dehydrate ka nga no? And infection as well. Depende naman yan sa severity, of course. So they divided the body into different areas, no? 9% per division. Each area represent about 9%, the rule of 9. So how many percent was burned in a patient body. So could be 18%, 20%, 30%, depende. I-add lang yung mga yan. Classified according to their depth naman, ito according to the area eh. But according to their depth naman, could be first degree, second degree, or third degree burn. Depende sa lalim nung sa layer yung naabot. Pag first degree, only the epidermis. So it's not really deadly. Okay? Skin is red, swollen. No, yung nakaraan, yung sa lab namin last week class, may napaso na test tube doon. Diyos ko. Saka may hinawakan niyang ganun. Ayun. Namula. Lagyan namin ng burn ointment. Second degree naman, not only the epidermis class but the upper part of the dermis. Ito na. Dali na yung capillary vessels, no? May dali na blood vessels. Skin is red with blisters, partial thickness burn that heals without scar. What happened? Umabot na siya sa dermis na part, no? Third degree burn, on the other hand, destroys the entire skin layer. So, ito, wala, malabo na yun. There will be scarring na. No, first degree burn, wala pa because it's just the epidermis. So, kaya yan mag-undergo ng cell division. While second degree burn naman, possible then without scarring as long as it's in the upper part of the epidermis. But third degree burn, since it destroyed already the deeper part of the layer of the skin, the entire skin layer class, there will be scar. No? Burn is gray, white or black, no, depending on the way on how it was burned. Nerve ending destroys, so no painful. It is not really that painful because all the nerve ending there is already destroyed. Maybe you will just feel numb, no. We'll never know kasi syempre we never really experienced that. Full thickness burn does not heal and grafting is necessary. So medyo mahirap yan, third degree burn. The entire layer is damaged. Fourth degree burn class, it is extend into the muscle as well. So the muscle is also damaged after the hypodermis, no? There is the muscle tissue na eh. So when the muscle tissue is also burned, then that's fourth degree burn. This burn always require medical treatment. The ligaments, the tendon, the nerves, the vessels, and the bones are already exposed. And critical burns. Burns are considered critical if 20% of the body has second degree burn. 10% of the body has third degree burn, and the third degree burns at the face, hands, or feet are also critical. Skin cancer class, no, are abnormal cell mass because of the modification or alteration or changes in the DNA in that particular skin cells. No, there are two types: benign, does not spread, encapsulated. You can easily remove it, of course, with a professional. No, but if it's malignant, it has the ability to metastasize, like just for example the melanocytes and the other one, the melanocytes. The melanoma, no? Melanocytes kasi nagta-travel yan eh. So, pwedeng mag-metastasize through other organs. Pwedeng kumalat. And also the other kind of cells, no? The squamous cells on the epithelial cells, pwede din yung kumalat. It's the most common type of cancer cell. For example, the basal carcinoma, it is least malignant. Most common type, it arises from the stratum bacilli that no longer marks keratin and stay in place. A medical procedure could remove this carcinoma. While squamous carcinoma class is a bit dangerous because it could metastasize to lymph node in the lymphatic system. But early removal, early detection has a good chance, no, of prevent this metastasizing from to other organs. So how will you determine that it is a cancerous, that the skin diseases is cancerous or not? Malignant melanoma, it's the most deadly among the skin cancer. Why is that? Because it is a cancer of the melanocytes. And you know melanocytes, it could move through the bloodstream and spread to the other parts of the body. How to detect? Kaya nasabi natin, the ABC rule. The asymmetry, if the two sides of the pigment or mole do not match, no? So, tingnan nyo yan. If they do not match, then there's a good chance, there is a chance that it's a cancerous, no? Border irregularity, if it is irregular shape, if it's not smooth or not circular, then it is possibly cancerous or cancer, that it's possibly a cancer. Color, different color in pigmented area. The color is not uniform, no? And the diameter, if it is larger than 6 millimeter in diameter, then it could be cancerous as well. Alright, so I think that's it. 59 of 59 slides. So, sakto 1 hour. If you had time, please, no? Aralin yung mabuti. You watch the video. And next week, face-to-face, I will prepare a 20 items quiz regarding this, integumentary skin and body membranes. Alright? I'll see you next week.